What's up, guys? Welcome back to another brand new live. We are live here. I don't know if we're live anywhere else, but we are live here on the podcast. So, welcome in, everybody. Welcome to Landscaping to the Point. Hopefully, you guys will be on soon. If not, hey, we're here. We're going to go ahead and get going on this stuff. And we're just going to have some great times today. So welcome, man, JC. Welcome back, my great host, JC. He's always here every week. Josh is out salting probably because I heard you guys are getting more snow. We're getting more snow, so there's
Snow
always
for everybody.
something. Everybody's getting snow.
Everyone's getting snow.
It's always one of those things. Everybody's getting snow. So I mean, this year I think has been higher for snow all around the United States. What do you think, JC?
Yeah, I have to agree with that, man. It's been a lot so far, and it's kind of been a lot early on into the season. I kind of predicted a snowy winter. I don't think everybody else has, or some people have, but yeah, we're getting hit, man. It's that snow that accumulates quite a bit, that fluffy snow, and then it sticks to everything. So that's the worst kind, I guess.
Yeah, I mean they say it's bad. I mean, like our areas has seen more snow per inch in the last. I mean, we've had snow since November this year, so we've been about 3 months in, and we've had more snow than we've had in 3 years. So I mean, it's been a big difference. They're predicting still to have a lot more. And maybe that's what we're going to have this year because I noticed we're having a lot more bands. I know guys up in Wisconsin, like Abel from Law Enforcement and a bunch of other guys, they're just getting pounded like nonstop. I heard like last week, South Bend got like 3 feet of snow. Wow. So I mean, a lot of places are getting a lot more snow than what they originally expected. And I mean, are you guys seeing a big difference in snow this year than compared to over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think we've had it good within. I mean, as far as not making money side of things, just
right.
average Joe not wanting a winter. We've had it pretty good for the last few years. I think last year it picked up a little bit, but it was still kind of like not as much as we've been used to before. This year, definitely, it's like I said earlier, it came on early into the season. We still got a long ways to go. I mean, our snow pretty much hangs in there until like March or so. It's crazy because as soon as it melts from the last snowfall, the next day or two, the snow comes back down again. So it's
amazing how fast it's been coming down too. I mean, I don't know. We had a while there where we were there, we had over like a week and we were kind of surprised that we didn't have snow and it all melted away. So we were kind of in the thoughts of like, hey, we're going to be good. We're going to be golden. And then all of a sudden, boom, here we go. And we end up with, they predicted us the last one over the weekend. We were only supposed to get like a half an inch and we ended up with 3.5 inches. So things just kind of changed. And I feel like that always happens with snow. Sometimes it just kind of pops in there and you're like, oh, here it is, so, stuff can change. And I think it's funny because one of my employees, we used to have this weather guy over here that predicted the blizzard of 78 over in our area. And he kind of he'd always say like when the snow was coming, he was literally probably 75% correct all the time. So you knew when it was getting snow and, my guy goes, I wish we had that guy back because like he would say yes or no and know exactly like, hey, it's going to be like 4 inches. And you'd be like, okay, we're going to get 4 inches, not some of these guys that are just like, hey, you're only getting an inch and a half. And then it like blows up into 4 inches. And you're like, what, where did you come up with this number? So it's funny how this stuff comes in. I mean, it really is. Welcome everybody. I see we're live on Instagram. Welcome everybody on Instagram. So we are live on everything right now. So Tactical Strongman says there's a push-up shortage. No, there's not a push-up shortage, but there is a salt shortage. So you guys can go out and push that snow, and maybe we won't have to worry about putting salt down. Yeah, there's a salt shortage, and I think it's kind of funny and comical, JC, that I've seen a difference in between what the state is doing. And from what I've heard, like the state is holding a bunch of salt in case, they have more, use for it. But I think it's funny because I've seen since the beginning of this year, a lot of the guys are the cities and the states are not putting as much salt down by us. And it's like, I don't know if it is something different that they're doing or what, because I feel like it's definitely changed. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, and I think part of that has to do with more towns and more cities within the last few years have been transitioning to the brine. They've been preparing before the snow comes. I don't know how helpful that is, but I think that's been something that they've been using for the last few years to maybe try to save some money on the salt. But when it's needed, it's there. We have plow trucks right now outside my house that are salting the streets as they pass by. But yeah, a lot of towns are using the brine, especially for like the smaller anticipated snowfall.
Right. Do you think I know we had talked before a long time with Josh, and I wish Josh was here, but he's out salting right now, guys. But he says that brine has got a little bit better control over it, and slowing down. Do you feel that that's what does better than regular salt if you put salt down? I feel like when I'm doing it, if we go and pre-salt stuff, I mean, we can put down heavy and reduce that down to where if it's an inch, we're only going to have to put down like a half an inch. We're going to have to mess with it. So we'll have to probably maybe resalt. But do you feel like by putting the brine down, it's going to make it less to have to put down salt?
I mean, I think it's definitely helpful. It also depends on when exactly you apply it. You could apply it, too soon. But for me, like I use calcium chloride, and I try to get out there before the snow falls. And you're always going to be using it, whether it's before or afterwards.
Right. Right.
But I like to prepare, and I think it is helpful, especially with the snow blowers. It's just easier to clean up when you prepare it with the calcium chloride, and then once the snow comes down, you hit it with the snow blower, and then throw some more calcium chloride on top of it. I don't use anything else. I don't like rock salt. I don't like magnesium. I think magnesium is the worst, but yeah, I think it's helpful. I mean, I don't know if it saves on salt, but
I don't know either. Do you feel okay? I know you did a test a long time ago with, and is that correct with like the liquid salt and all that on your sidewalk?
Yeah, I gave it a dabble. I tried that once. It was a failed attempt. Actually, it wasn't really a failed attempt. It was just I did try it, and I didn't really notice any difference from just throwing your traditional calcium down. But I don't know. Maybe I'll go back to doing it again. I don't know. It was more work for me, I guess, for just the regular guy that's just at home trying to mix some brine together. I did play around with it though.
Right. I think it's a difference when you do it for your own self, because I feel like, I hate to say it, but since I have lots of salt, we put down a lot more sometimes in our driveway than anywhere else, I think. But I think it's just because we have the extra, and like, we use a lot of bags. So we don't like to have bags sitting wide open in the shop. So it's like, we'll go in and just dump like 4 or 5 bags in our lot and be like, okay, it's cleared for now. Our driveway's good, but I feel like it makes a big difference sometimes, because you're like, you always put more on your place than anybody else is sometimes, just like you take care of your yard more than sometimes the neighbors or something. But
I think for the homeowner, the brine is too much of a hassle because it takes so long to apply it. Whereas if you could just throw stuff down or use a spreader and just go over to the property, it's a lot easier. So
oh yeah, I think it is a lot easier that way. Now I think it was funny because I want to say this, because I seen some guy on Instagram I noticed that, everybody's talking about the salt shortage. I got guys in our area that can't get salt at all. But they could go out and get table salt. I mean, I think it's a total different thing, but but
About the
still,
same.
it's the same. It really is. But it's funny how there's tons of table salt, but you can't get rock salt.
Yeah.
But it's different. But but so this guy posted, and I want to say he's in Pennsylvania. Okay. And he made a big post. It was like a minute long post that he put up on Instagram. I wish I would have saved it because I think it's funny because he was like, he goes, they say there's a salt shortage and look, and he shows his salt bin and he goes, I got over 300,000 tons in salt in here. And then he's pointing over to where his bins were for his mulch. And he's like, and I got 300 tons here and I got 300 tons here and I got 300 tons here. And I got more coming in. So I got salt. So if your company isn't salt and you can call me, I'll come out and salt. And I'm like, this guy is taking all the salt from everybody. No wonder we got a salt shortage, And
Scalping salt, huh?
Yeah. So like, and he's like, I'm thinking, why do you need this much salt? Like, are you hoarding it? Thinking that if we do get it, you're going to be totally fine and that you're hoping people will buy from you? Or are you just trying to be that guy that, is worried about it and just wants to make sure that he's covered for his whole, all the season? So it's one of those things. I think it's funny, but I feel like it's like, in a way, you're promoting like, hey, I can have more than anybody else in my area, and you guys aren't going to get it from me, So it's like, what do you do at that point? So,
yeah, he's either scalping it or maybe he bought in bulk, like a ton for future anticipation, and he just ended up with a lot of salt. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know either. It's funny. But do you feel it's okay? Okay, a lot of companies around us. I was just talking to a guy that I know, and he had said one of the salt places literally is right across from his shop, and it went from at $130 a ton at the beginning of the season to now it's $310 a ton. That's how much it's jumped. So that's double of what it originally started out with. Do you feel that these salt companies that supply us with salt, it's okay for them to jump up the price for us?
Well, here's the thing. You got to look at it from their standpoint too, right?
Right.
If you get it early, you're going to capitalize on saving, spending a lot less than what it is. But the problem is when it's a last minute situation, everybody is trying to scramble to get salt for themselves. You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, I don't know, it's always, no matter if it's salt or any other product, like you're trying to get, something at the store and it's the day before a snowstorm, everybody's buying shovels and there's no shovels left at Home Depot. Whereas if you bought one early, you wouldn't have to scramble to the store and maybe even you're going to end up spending more, trying to find that one shovel because everybody else waited last minute. I don't know if that increase is a price gouge or if it's legitimate, because maybe it's one of those things where they're not able to get their supplier to come in and, provide them with the salt that they need to sell it in bulk. So, I mean, I think that's part of being a savvy business owner is trying to make sure that you cover, your ends early on into the season as opposed to and I know you run out, because
Right.
you're never going to anticipate how much snow you're going to get, how much salt you're going to need. But I mean, it's like with anything else, people go to BJ's or Costco and they buy toilet paper in bulk and they buy other stuff in bulk. Sometimes they don't use it until it comes to a point in time where they actually need it and they're happy that they have it. So, I mean, that's a tough question to answer. I don't know if, I could understand a price increase. I don't know if that price justifies anything.
Right. I think it's always funny. Tactical Strongman says the word salary comes from salt. That's how valuable salt is. I think salt is a big commodity right now, especially this time of year. And I feel like you said, I think that they have a supply and demand too. So a lot of these suppliers are ending up paying more than what they originally paid. So they have to pass it on to us.
Mm.
So I feel like it's not really something that we can change. Except for, like I said, like some guy said before, is like, try to prepare, more in advance if you can. And sometimes it's kind of hard because like,
Hard.
look at me, I don't have a spot for my salt. So I'm not like Josh, has spots that he puts salt. Not everybody has a place where they can put salt.
Mm.
Salt, it's always good to have that salt bin and have tons of salt, but do you really want to sit on salt sometimes? Because after a while it gets pretty hard, and you can't move it around, and then what are you going to do? You got salt that you got to get rid of too. So
yeah, I guess it's part of the business, man. It's one of those things that we don't really have control over, and it's just something that we have to deal with it. But I mean, I think you could offset that by trying to get more clients and build your profits, but yeah, it's just the way it is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to take it. I know TP over on Instagram says he thinks that the Romans used salt to trade like money, and I think so. I think they did, and I think that's one of the things that it's always been, I guess, different, because it is like money if you think about it. The salt makes us money in the green industry. We use the salt to produce money for us, and but I feel like it's always one of those things. Like, if you're not prepared, it's going to happen. I mean, it's happened to me. I've been in business 30 years. The salt shortage it's not something that's common that happens every year. But it did happen last year in February, and now it's happening again early this year. But I feel like it's going to come out, and when you have these years where you barely have any salt, that much snow, and then you come into a year like this where we've already had a good amount of snow already, I can see why salt's going up, because it's hard they're not prepared for it. They weren't prepared to, say, okay, well, here it comes, so
I think too, like it kind of could work out to be the same. So for example, you have one landscape company that has a lot, right? So they're able to buy salt in bulk early on to the season, right? Whereas you have another landscape company that doesn't have a lot and has to buy, as they utilize it. It might end up roughly being close to the same, because you have one business that doesn't have to pay for property or rent the property space, and then you have another one that does. So
right.
The rental plus the salt, at the end of the day, it might come close to around the same thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I mean, why pay for a place to store salt? If you can do, I mean, it's
might
always
balance out.
Yeah. Why do that? If you can, but do you feel like, okay, and I feel like, just like any supplier, they keep getting salt in throughout the season, and they try to do that as much as they can. So it's like, but the only thing that they can do to help you out is to try to get you to buy it pre amount so much ahead of time. But, like the one guy I know that's around here, literally he bought 200 tons and then turned around and bought 200 tons again right before the salt shortage, but now is stuck to where they won't give him that 200 tons. Do you feel that that's fair, or because he already bought it, should he have already gotten it by now? It's one of those things, like, what do you do at that point?
I mean, you have to consider, it's the supplier's standpoint, right? Because now you bought in early, and now you want, you want it when the demand is there, right? And if that supplier keeps giving the salt to that one person, then you may end up like leaving a bad taste in other businesses' mouths. So when there's no more shortage or anything like that, then they may not come back to order from you. I don't know. But I think, yeah, I think your camera is all jacked up. I think he's trying to switch cameras, but I don't know, Scott. I think you kicked yourself out. You left me by myself for the second week in a row. And I'm just merely saying that and speculating and all that stuff because I really honestly don't have a grasp on the snow removal business. But I mean, I think if you compare it to something, like mulch or something like that, like I was saying, wow, now there's 2 Joshes on. That's awesome. And you can't hear none of them. Oh,
you can't hear me?
I can hear
you. Hear you.
That's a little trippy, man. How do you have 2 cameras?
I love 2 cameras. You got to have 2 cameras so I can look at you this way and I can look at you that way.
Yeah. No, so I was going on a rant, but I wasn't really making too much sense. At the end of the day, what I'm trying to say, if a supplier is favoring one business and giving the salt to them in a shortage, and the other businesses can't buy salt from them, once the shortage is over, are those customers that weren't able to buy from them return? Would they return?
That's the hard part. I think that's the hardest part about it. Like, do you go back to that same supplier, or do you look for a new supplier?
I mean, people are always going to look for a better price. It's like going to a gas station. Like if there's 2 gas stations across from each other, you might go to one when that one's lower, and then the next week go to the other one when it's lower. But I don't know. Like, put yourself in the shoes of a supplier. Would you rather make it fair game for everybody, or would you bounce back and forth between the people that are going to buy in bigger quantities?
Right. I think that's one of the things you always got to look at. And I feel like, I hate to say it, but I think you have to have multiple suppliers. And I think that's the way we all should work, especially, I mean, look at me. I run a good business. We are successful in my eyes, but we have different suppliers. It's not like the same thing with our fertilizer. We buy from 2 different places. We buy from Anderson's, we buy from Lesco. Literally 2 different companies we buy fertilizer from. So when it comes to salt, wouldn't you buy from 2 different suppliers, 3 different suppliers, so that way you can keep your demand up and make sure that you have salt coming in? Like they say, a long time ago, like, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
If you put all your eggs in one basket and that supplier just says, okay, I'm cut off, I can't get salt. Now you're scrambling. Like, what do I do? Right. I mean, you got to have different suppliers. I mean, I have 3 different suppliers for salt. I like to buy from one supplier that I do on a nonstop, but I have 2 other ones that I can call and say, I need salt. And they're going to definitely say, okay, come on over. It's not like, I know one of the suppliers literally only sells to certain customers because, like you said, they want that one that's going to come in with the higher, money, and saying like, okay, they're going to buy 200 tons from me every year, and that's one of them suppliers that they want to work with someone that brings in a lot of money for them throughout the year. And I do other things with them, so they always are, I can call them up and say, hey, I need salt. And they're going to be like, hey, we got you covered. We'll make sure that you got, as many pallets as you want, and if I say, hey, I need 5 pallets, and they're waiting on a shipment, they'll be like, okay, well, a shipment will be here tomorrow. We'll pull 5 pallets off the side for you, and make sure that you get them. Even if you're going to get one at a time, we got you your 5 pallets. So I think you got to have that multiple suppliers when it comes to salt, to anything really, any supply that you're getting, because you never know when the prices are going to go up. You never know if there's a tariff put on anything that's going to change the prices, and you're like, oh, what do I do now? So
what would you do as a supplier? Would you favor a customer because they consistently buy bulk, or would you make it even game for everybody?
I think it's even game at the beginning, and then if there is like this where there's a salt shortage, I'm going to go with somebody that's coming in constantly buying bulk, or buying a good amount of, even if I think if some guy's like a solo guy and he's only coming in once in a while, unless I have to where I can get the salt on a constant basis, I would say, yeah, then I'd be like, okay, everybody, it's good to go. You just come on in. It's, first come, first serve. But when you get into a shortage like this, I mean, I would look more at the people that are buying, 5, 6 tons, maybe, 20 tons, because I know I'm going to be able to get rid of that salt right away and I can get another load in, and I think that's the way a lot of people are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough speaking on it because I really don't have a lot of knowledge on that business side of things, but it's an interesting take.
But you got the business side where you bought fertilizer. So it's kind of the same thing. It'd be like, if fertilizer was at a shortage, and the demand went up, which a couple years back because of COVID, a lot of that stuff did increase in price. So it was kind of like a more of a demand on like, are you going to pay the higher price to fertilize somebody's yard?
Right.
And are you going to pass it along? Because see, I got like Spencer over there at Spencer Lawn Care. He had said something, I think last week, about saying like, should we pass it along to our customers? I myself don't think that because it got raised, we should pass that along to our customers. We sign our customers up at the beginning of the season saying, hey, we're going to provide you with salt. Is it their fault that the price went up?
I mean, I think you have to find a balance with that, Yeah. Because then another thing too is like if you are supplying fertilizer for a client and the prices is always changing, they may get upset that it's not consistent.
Right. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard in this type of world on what to do sometimes, especially with a shortage. I mean, I don't know. I feel like sometimes you just take it and just keep going, maybe next week we can get Josh on and ask his little input on it, guys, because I think he might have a little input more on it, but who knows?
He's probably listening to us right now, pulling his hair out.
He better be pulling his hair out, pushing that snow and then salting and not even thinking about joining us to say hi. He was supposed to be our reporter in the field today, and he came jump on and report. So I see how it is, Josh. That's all I gotta say, man. That's all I say. So, okay. What's up? All that grass says, what's up, guys? What's going on, Danny? How are you, buddy?
What's up, brother?
So, all right, let's see here. We talked about the salt shortage. Here's one for you guys. I know we're getting closer to the Super Bowl. Do you think the Bears are going to make it?
I would like to see the Bears make it.
You too?
Yeah. I really would.
It's been a long time.
It's been such a long time. I think the last time they won the Super Bowl was when they made that Super Bowl Shuffle song.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So it's been a long time. I
just want to see a different team. I'm sick and tired of seeing the Chiefs. I'm sick and tired of like seeing those typical teams that make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think so. It's one of those things. Like you said, I'd love to see a different team. I really would. I mean, we've seen so many different teams get close and then get pushed away to like the Chiefs or for 49ers, or Tampa Bay. And I'd rather see somebody new. I'd like to see another team in there, this year, next year, probably a couple years in a row, and not have the repeat of the same teams. I think it's going to be a little bit different. I'm glad that Philly got beat last week, so it's going to be a good little thing. And I know all you guys that are listening to me from Philly are probably like hating me because I said that, but hey, I'm just the guy. Okay. I live near, Detroit, so I'd rather see Detroit get farther, but what are you going to do? So,
I think it's actually better that your team doesn't make the Super Bowl, because you could actually watch the Super Bowl without like stress. You know what I mean? Like, especially when your team's doing bad and your team's losing,
right.
I don't know. Cause I'm not a huge sports guy. I definitely cheered on rooted for the Patriots when they had their awesome run for those years. But but it was stressful, when they lose, it's like, ah, crap, you're really into it. But I like to kick back and just eat some good food and just watch the game and, not really care who wins and just kind of enjoy the game for what it's worth.
Yeah, I think it's good to see different teams, and I think this year has been a lot different, and everything's going better. Yeah, I mean, New England's still in it. Seahawks are still in it. So I mean, there's still a good amount of teams in it, and hopefully, we'll see how far each one makes it. You never know. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be one of those things, don't you think, JC?
Yeah, yeah, it should be. It's definitely an interesting season. I would say I haven't watched too much football. I do play fantasy, but I haven't watched too much. But I think if you're a football fan, you're definitely enjoying this playoff run.
Oh yeah. I mean, okay. Here we go. We're almost down to the last four teams. So JC, what's your prediction? Okay, on next week we have Patriots versus Broncos.
Hmm.
You think Broncos will beat Patriots?
So typically I'd be biased and say that New England Patriots would win. But without any bias, I got to be realistic. The
Right.
Patriots are going to win because the Broncos, I don't think. If I was a neutral person looking at the
Right.
team, Patriots and the Broncos, I'd have to go with the Patriots because I don't think the Broncos are that good of a team.
Okay, I agree with you on that one. I really do. I don't think the Broncos have been good this year. I know they got a better defense than a lot of teams, but I don't think they got the offense there.
Yeah.
The offense is not there. So I think the Patriots has got a better offense right now, and I think they're going to definitely pass through that game like ease next week. So I think that's going to be good. And then Seahawks. Let's say the Bears win and get farther up against the Seahawks. Do you think they beat the Seahawks?
That's gonna be a good game.
Yeah,
that's gonna be.
I think it would be a real good game. Really,
I'd
love to see the Bears move all the way up to the Super Bowl. So I mean, I would say the Bears are going to win on that one, no matter what.
So you have to be neutral again, right? So I think if I was looking at it from, which it is a neutral perspective,
it is a neutral sport. Come
I
on.
want the Bears to win, but I don't think they're going to. I think the Seahawks will win.
You think the Seahawks will take care of them?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know, guys. What does everybody think out there? If you're listening, send me guys' predictions on who's going to win next week and if the Bears will move on up to the Super Bowls. I'd love to see them move up that far, but it's going to be a hard one, I think, maybe against the Seahawks. But, I think if they do make it, it's definitely going to be a hard one against New England. Definitely a hard game against New England. So, yeah. All right, guys. So we touched a little bit on sports. We touched on the salt shortage. We touched on all the snow that's coming in. Okay. We're heading into the season here pretty soon. We got 6 weeks left till the season starts, guys. So what's your goal to push forward, and what do you guys need to get going? JC, I know you've been in business. You still take care of your own stuff. So what right now should we be doing to get ahead of getting ready for the season?
Well, I think once the season ends, you should be looking back at what you could have done better in anything in life, but for business wise. I think right now you should just be making sure, you have your equipment in line. Maybe you're, already kind of working on those things in the shop already. Your marketing ideas, maybe even sending letters to your customers, letting them know there's 6 weeks left and the season's about to start, writing up your contracts, scouting some new properties and some new clients,
So do you think it's too early to start approaching customers right now?
I don't think it's ever too early.
I don't think so either. I think anytime that you can be out and promote your business, or like you said, scouting for new customers, looking for new customers, calling customers, I think that's the best time you can. Literally, let's see, last week I sold one new customer already, and I've already sold 2 extra side jobs. So I've already sold 2 extra landscapings already for the year, and I think it's still a perfect time. I think it's right now is a perfect time to push out there because we're going to get in that season beginning of the season rush. We're going to be busy. We're not going to be able to get out there and constantly promote our company, get out there and do these estimates on a good timely basis. So the better now than never, really.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, like New Year's or January, you could send out calendars to some clients. I saw this really cool idea online. It was a few years back. I don't know if it was a landscape company or like a fertilizer company. They would send clients or new clients or leave them on the doors little envelopes with grass seed in it. And it's like, hey, the season's starting, and it would be a little kit where you could like put it tell you put the seed in the cup and water it and all that crap. And it was a fun little idea, kind of just a couple seeds and instructions on how to grow it, and people could make their own little grass pot for their window or something like that. It was kind of cool. And it had the company's name on the back and everything.
That's interesting. That is a good idea. I mean, I think that you're giving something away to the customer to kind of remind them of what you kind of do, your services that you do. This is also a good time to get out and advertise as much as you can, guys. Like JC said, get out there, advertise, get your, if you don't have your equipment ready for the season, that's one of the things we already push already for our equipment to be ready as soon as the season's over with. We're already going through that stuff and doing our last oil changes. We're sharpening the blades for the season. We're making sure, everything's tip top. If anything has to be changed, we get in there and get it changed right away. And I think that's something that we're already pushed for that. So now we're already ready to push into the next season. We're getting ready to start pushing flyers out. I think that's a good thing to do is get out flyers or postcards or whatever way you're doing it. If you're putting door hangers up, put door hangers up. Go visit businesses. This is the perfect time of year to go visit businesses. They're not thinking about the spring rush. I used to wait on businesses, and I think that's one of the things I tell anybody right now is this is the perfect time to go to the businesses and say, hey, I know you're not thinking about snow, you're not thinking about grass. You're thinking about that snow that's coming in, but hey, in literally like 2 months, we're going to be out doing our stuff, and we want to make sure that we get you on our list. So if you need an estimate, let's go ahead and get you that estimate right now. I think that's the perfect time to do it. What do you think, JC, about using like Google Maps and stuff if we can't see the properties and stuff?
So I just wanted to add to what you just said before.
That's
and
fine.
It goes to the point of the early bird gets the worm, right? So it's never too early to seek a customer. As far as using Google Maps to kind of scout, what do you mean, like to measure or to scout?
Just to scout. I mean, I think measuring, you got to get out there and measure it yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
But when you got snow out there and stuff, it's kind of hard to say what's there. There might be a bed covered up with snow and you're not going to be able to see it. So do you, would you use Google Maps now to kind of give you an aerial view or, kind of like a picture of the front of the property or something to kind of know?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I definitely would. I think, especially like new developments.
Right.
I know sometimes Google Maps takes a while to update. But if there's a place that's kind of almost done, maybe you could get an idea for like the properties. You use anything. I would recommend using anything to your advantage. I know AI is something that more people are utilizing nowadays too. I don't have an example of what AI could be utilized for as far as that, but I mean, there's endless possibilities,
I think it's going to boost here in the next couple of years, especially for us landscape designers, as AI is going to jump out there where a customer can say, I want to change my yard up in just a picture. I mean, if you guys have seen some of my pictures that I posted, some of them are AI, and it's like you're being able to take a picture and just add something different to it. Literally, it was funny because over Christmas break, we kind of took some pictures and we sent them to our family. Well, I took a picture of our 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 living room and said, change this up to Google, and Google literally took that picture and just changed it up real quick. And I sent it to my family, and my family was like, what happened to your house? Like, what did you do to your house? Because we know you're not that, decorative, and it was like, yeah, I don't do that much, but
Funny you say that, bro. It's funny you say that because I've owned my house for 10 years now.
right.
I live by myself. I've never lived with anybody else in my house. So I live like a bachelor. I've said that
Right.
many times in the past, right? So now, 10 years later, I'm now in the mood of like buying some pretty decent furniture, making my house look like a home.
Right.
And my living room is completely empty. I have one couch in there, one chair, and a TV. That's it. That's all I have in my living room.
There's nothing wrong with that, dude. There
But,
isn't.
but it's funny you say that because look, I have this picture on my phone, and
There you go.
that's an AI picture,
Right.
right?
Totally.
And I had AI like say like I said, design me. I took a picture of the room. I said, design me a living room area. I want it masculine. I don't want like flowers and fluff and all that stuff, all the stuff that Josh likes. And it did that like on the first shot, and I was like, that actually looks really cool.
Right.
And so I'm working on getting furniture like that for my living room.
I think that's what's going to change it up is because, I've heard so many people that have done that, like you did. Take a picture of a room and say, change it the way I want. Put some flowers in there like Josh likes. Put, some plants there. Put, a big screen TV. Put, an L-shaped couch or whatever, and it's doing it for them. So they can more envision it quicker than anybody can design it up. You know what I'm saying? And literally, what it take like less than 30 seconds to pop that picture up?
Less than 30 seconds. And I've been like, for like last 10 years, like every now and then I think about like how I'd want to decorate my living room. I cannot go to a store and be like, I think that would look cool. Like I don't have that touch. I don't have that interior design skill. Some people do. I don't. But yeah, I like it. I dig it.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's going to change. AI when we take pictures is going to change a lot, and it's going to change up for, I feel like, designers, because designers are going to be able to take a picture right then and there instead of going back and saying, hey, I want to put in, you can be like, I want to put in 4 hostas, 2 roses, and, a crabapple tree. Tell me what it looks like and take that picture and literally, boom. It's going to change that totally out for landscapers in the long run, because instead of us going back and actually having to put in all that stuff, change it up in a computer program, or be able to sit there and design it and draw it all out for a customer, here it is. You're going to take that in 30 seconds. You're going to be able to show that customer and say, here, this is what I think. What do you think? And you're going to be able to get that quick quote done and be able to sell it right then and there. Yeah. I mean, just think about it just for mulch. You can take a picture of somebody that has mulch and say, okay, refreshing this mulch up. Give me a picture of the refreshing mulch, or change the mulch to stone. Like, customers are going to be able to see that and say, well, yeah, I want that stone. Go ahead and put that down, So
yeah, even patio designs too for hardscapers.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these companies are. I mean, I think, who was it? Technoblock, I think it is, or Techoblock. They literally have on their app to where you literally take a picture, put it in their system, and you can literally take any patio you want, and it'll show up from their designs and put it in there, literally in seconds. So literally, why not go that way?
It's the way of the future, man.
It is. A lot of it's going to change, and I think it's going to go positive for us in the green industry. People might say it's stealing jobs, but it's not going to steal our jobs because we still have to put the work into it. So, there's still labor that needs to go into it. So, don't think that it's stealing our jobs, guys.
Always.
Oh yeah. All right. So we touched on that. Let's see. Anybody else seeing any problems going on? I'd like to know. We got a couple of people still live on Instagram. We got a couple of people on YouTube. So what's going on, guys. Let's see what's going on. Let's see.
Where's Brightstone with his joke? Is he
I
on?
don't know where Brightstone is. He hasn't jumped on at all today. So, I mean, I'd love a joke from Brightstone today. I don't know where he's at. Maybe Brightstone just doesn't like to talk to us anymore.
We don't laugh at his jokes.
I know. I'm like, Brightstone, where are you? I'm gonna send him a message right now and say, "Where's our joke?" So, hopefully, Danny, have a great night, man. I know you had some couple days of snow, so we got more snow coming your way, Danny. So just get prepared, dude. I know JC's got a lot more coming. Everybody does. So
yeah.
Thanks to Don. Don has, I don't think he's had that much snow, so he's just probably laughing it up as we're getting it, and he's probably just like, "Yeah, I ain't got nothing this year. You guys."
These are flurries for him. He's
Yeah.
used a lot more snow.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. What do you think about that? What do you think of a backpack over a snowblower?
A backpack?
Yeah, he uses a backpack blower 90% of the time compared to a snowblower.
I think it depends on the type of snow you have. Obviously, you know.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
And I've tried it, and although it is effective, it does take a lot longer. You know, if you just take a shovel and just walk, you don't even have to like scoop it, just kind of push it. You can kind of get things done a lot quicker. It's good for like blowing off your car and stuff like that. I think my neighbor earlier this morning had the backpack blower. He was doing something. I don't know. It's kind of weird because he has a gravel driveway, so I don't know what he was trying to do.
I don't know. I think snowblowers on gravel driveways just suck. I really do. It shoots rocks everywhere. It's funny to watch somebody try to do a driveway like that. Even watching somebody trying to shovel, dude. I think that's one of the hardest things to do is shovel a gravel driveway. It really is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't like plowing. You know, we gave up on plowing places that had gravel driveways. We used to plow a couple places that had gravel driveways, and we gave up on that because it's just like you're pushing stones everywhere, and then you're just like, what am I doing? You know, one of the ones that literally, I'm glad I dropped it. I used to do a place, and it had a parking lot. It was gravel parking lot, and then usually once a month during the winter, we used to have to plow the whole front of the grass because they would have it was like a theater company. They did, you know, plays and stuff out of there. And once a month they had a play. So literally they'd call us up and say, you know, this one we have, this date we have a play, this one we have a play. So if you have any snow that week, you had to plow the whole grass. And I tell you what, that was one of the hardest jobs because you're literally just ripping the grass up left and right all over the place. But they literally would have us come back in every spring and just seed it all up. And, you know, they'd go ahead and water it for us. And we'd go back, you know, next year and plow it all up again. And it was just like, you know, I didn't get why they did that. You know, it was like, why don't you just, you know, once you plot it once, why don't you just let us stone it all and be done with it? You know, why seed it all over again? Like, I don't get why we were seeding it every year, but you know, that's one of the things they wanted to do. So
I don't know how effective it is, but I've seen people put like PVC under the blade of their snowplow when they have to do like gravel or like or grass areas, so it doesn't dig up. I don't know if how effective that is. I've obviously never done that.
Right. Yeah. I don't. Brightstone. Here you go. Brightstone. He's on, buddy. I asked him, where's our joke? He goes, yeah, the joke is the fact that there's a freeze warning down there tonight and tomorrow morning. He goes, winter's drunk and down here, and you guys need to come get him. No, he's not drunk. He just wanted to come see you. He misses Florida. That's why winter's down there. So you're going to have to get used to it because it's coming a lot more for you for the next couple of weeks. So tell your iguanas to go hide because they're going to get dropping. I'll tell you that much. So, yeah. Brightstone, you need to come up with a really good joke, Brightstone. That's all I got to say.
We got to get Brightstone on the podcast one of these days.
Yes, we do. Brightstone, you got to get on the podcast one of these times. We want to get a lot of you guys on the podcast. So definitely I'm going to start hitting you guys up, and we'd like to get you guys on one time live with us because we'd like to know a little bit more about you and just chit chat. I mean, I think that's one of the things we love to do is just chit chat. So definitely would like to get you guys all on the podcast that come on a regular basis. So
you know who we have to get on the podcast again is the J&J siblings.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah. Shout out to them. Yeah.
Yes, Brightstone says send him an invite. Okay, we'll get you on, Brightstone. We're gonna send you an invite, and we're gonna get you on the podcast one of these days, and because we'd love to have you on, man. Definitely would love to have you on. I think it'd be a good thing to have somebody from Florida to explain why it's so warm down there instead of so cold. I mean, I don't get it myself, why it's so warm down there. I don't get it. I mean, maybe because you're close to the middle of the oceans and the equator. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a mathematician or something. Oh, here you go. He goes, what's the snowman's favorite drink?
Huh.
I got a lot of them that I could come up with. The one he put out there, I mean,
I'm going to say iced tea.
Iced tea, yeah. How'd you get it? I don't know how you got that one.
I mean, it was a wild guess.
I don't know. I thought maybe iced coffee or something, maybe, Yeah, but that was a good one. That was a good one, Brightstone. I mean,
that was the answer?
Yeah, that was the answer. Iced tea. You came up with the answer right away.
I didn't realize that was the answer. I just thought that was a guess. Like anything could have been that.
It could have been anything, dude. It could have been anything. That's what I thought. I was thinking in my head that could have been iced coffee. That could have been like, iced water. Could have been anything. I mean, maybe iced water.
I wonder what iced tea the rapper's favorite drink is.
Oh man, I don't know. OJ. There we go. We got jokes for you guys. We got jokes. Oh man. Welcome everybody. We are about ready to get done. Here we go. We got another one from Brightstone, and then we're going to end out for the night, guys. We had a good time tonight talking about everything. But Brightstone's next joke, last one joke of the night, guys, and then we're going to start heading out. What do snowmen do in the summer?
I know the answer to this.
I hope you do.
I know the answer to this.
Oh, I want to hear your answer first.
They
Go
ahead. No. That's not it?
No.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
It does make sense that they would chill during
the summertime, so they chill.
Oh, no. It's complete opposite. Think about it.
Well, I mean, they have to chill if they want to stay alive, right?
They should, yeah. Just chill in a freezer is what they should do.
Yeah. What do snowmen do in the summer?
Yeah.
It's something. Oh, they no. It sounds stupid. It has to do with them melting. I know that.
Yes, it is something they melt. They melt into new experiences.
Yeah. Or I don't know. They
was kind of horrible.
Swimming pool.
They should melt into a swimming pool. Yes, they should.
They ponder on their life choices.
Ooh, that was good. They ponder on their life choices. I like that. All right, guys. Well, thank you, Brightstone, for jumping on. Thank you, JC Lawn Tips, for jumping on. Thank you, Danny, from All That Grass. System Ground Incorporated, thank you. Glenn Lawn Care, thank you. TP Mowing, thank you. And Tactical Strongman, thank you guys for jumping on today. It was glad that we got to talk to you guys. Got a lot of talking back and forth on Instagram. And hopefully maybe we throw some good stuff out to you guys to think about. Maybe we didn't. Who knows? I mean, everybody listens to us, says it's a good show all the time. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Continue to listen, continue to watch. Do do as much as you guys can. Thanks to our sponsors, Cujo Yardware, and to what's that place?
Pro Parts Direct.
Pro Parts Direct. Yes, I can't think about it. I'm thinking about snow stuff, and I can't even think about Pro Parts Direct. Oh, come on, Pro Parts Direct. Thank you. Thank you guys for having us as us on, all the time, because I know they listen to us too all the time. So thank you guys. And thank you guys for watching us. We're going to head out. We will be back next week.